Welcome to Confessions of a Stenographer, where we are focusing on all things steno and the state of our profession. Thanks for tuning in. I am your host, Shaunise Day, founder of Steno in the City and founder of this podcast. Before we jump into episode 11 with our next co-host, I would like to take the time out to thank everyone who has been co-hosting this podcast while I'm currently on leave. I really appreciate you all, and you guys are doing such a great job. I truly, truly, truly appreciate you all. So we are going to get into our next guest, and our next two co-hosts, they are steno game changers. And if you don't know what a steno game changer is, that is someone who is on fire for steno. It's someone that's passionate about our profession, someone that's always, thinking of new innovative ideas to introduce to our profession. Always, adding value, someone that just loves steno. And I've said this over and over, and I'll continue to say it on every episode. As technology continues to evolve, so will steno. Despite other methods, we are not going anywhere. We're going to continue to, figure out ways to keep our profession alive. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Chase and Alyssa Frazier. Hey, Chase and Alyssa Frazier, are you guys ready to confess?
Yes.
Yes.
Do it.
Do your thing.
So I'll start off. My name is Chase Frazier. I am a captioner, cart provider, and also an instructor and owner of Champion Steno, our online court reporting and captioning program. And my lovely wife sitting next to me.
Hi, everybody. My name's Alyssa Frazier. Welcome to this amazing podcast by the one and only Shaunise Day. Ooh, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Alyssa Frazier, just like Chase said. I was an official, but now that we've moved to Nebraska, I guess I'm considered a freelancer now, which is an interesting new venture. And I also do Champion Steno, which I absolutely love. If you guys are interested in that, check that out. championsteno.com. Yeah. And I guess that's a little bit about me. We have an amazing little son, Jackson.
A little 1.5-year-old. He is a blast.
He's the light of our life.
So to start off a little bit about us, I started my court reporting journey when I was a junior in high school. I started learning theory. I started learning kind of like a modified Mark Kislingberry theory, his original theory, not his current one. And my mom went through it and changed a bunch of stuff to how she thought was better. And that's what I ended up learning, or maybe not better, but just kind of tweak some certain things. And so I started learning that when I was a junior, and then I kind of was like off and on. I do a month of theory here, take a month off. And so over the period of 2 years, I ended up learning theory while I was in high school. And then right after high school, went into speed building and passed all the way up to like 100 or 120 words a minute in about a month. And then, I went up to 200 like really fast, but my writing was not so, or my cleanliness of my writing was not so great. So my mom said, go back down to 140, clean up your writing, put in your punctuation, make sure that you aren't just writing slop all the time, make sure you're getting, most of it to where you can actually read it. So I did that, and I turned into a real-time fanatic to where if it wasn't, it's really bad to do in court reporting school, but if I didn't pass it real time, I really didn't turn it in, which I would not recommend. But that's kind of how I started doing my tests from there on, was just like real time only. And it turned me into, okay, I have to write the correct here and here. I have to write the correct break and break, and I have to have all my punctuation in. and all that. And then it started really building up my speed to where I had to get my fingers to go faster, and I had to write shorter to be able to write that clean of real time. And I ended up passing 260 words a minute for 5 minutes, actually 3 of those tests, or I took 3 of them and I passed 2 of them. And then at that point, my mom was like, get out of school. You should not be passing 260s while you're in school. So I left school, started doing carts, and became a cart captioner, passed my real time, my RPR, my real time, my RMR within like the year or 2 after school. Yep. And then go on.
I was just going to interject and say we had an amazing teacher.
Yes, she allowed
our
me.
Program.
Yes,
that we were at.
Our program. Alyssa and I went to the same school. It was a community college, and when she was there, she allowed me to turn in my test real time. So it was the normal test that she read to the whole class, but right after I was done with it, I immediately emailed her a PDF. She went home after class, printed it out, brought it to school the next day, and then we graded it the very next day. And it really allowed me to like get instant feedback of real-time tests. And I would say that was like my biggest benefit of learning in a real-time testing situation.
Mm-hmm. It was awesome.
Your turn.
So hello again. So for me, I kind of found out about court reporting from my aunt. She pretty much was making great money, and that really excited me. She made her own hours, which also was really exciting coming from a small town. We just didn't make money like that. And so that was super exciting to me, a big pull. I loved her machine. I loved writing on it. And I'm very nosy. For those of you who don't know me, I am an ambulance chaser. I'm really nosy. I love knowing what's going on. So getting to be right in the thick of everything that is fun and interesting, obviously not all the time, but still, just enough to sprinkle you and keep you interested. And so anyways, that's what I really enjoyed about it, is getting to hear all the juicy details, getting to see all the pictures, getting to see everyone in person. That really interested me. So I was born in Nebraska, lived there for 17 years, and I moved all the way to California to go to court reporting school, which is pretty bizarre when you look back and think about that decision. 17 years old, moved to California. I had family who lived there, so I stayed with them. I went to school, I guess full-time. I went full-time. I worked 3 jobs, which was insane. So I definitely didn't dedicate as much time as I should have. Hindsight's always 20/20, but it's just way too easy to make excuses to not be on your machine. And, the money I was making from those 3 jobs, it was nowhere near what I would make as a court reporter. I think, I worked at Hollister at one point. I was making $8 an hour, which is just nothing. I mean, looking back, the minimum wage is now almost $15 in California. So it's just bizarre to just think that I thought $8 an hour was going to get me further than court reporting. But it just happens. You kind of just get freaked out, and I was just too scared to commit. I had to support myself. My family wasn't able to pay for things for me, so I had to pay for my whole schooling. And since I was out of state, it was way more expensive, even though it was a community college. But so anyways, I just had different things that I had to worry about. I didn't put as much time in as I should have. I got through really quickly, probably to 160, and then I hit a bump. It took me quite a while to get over that 160 bump. And I ended up meeting Chase when I was in speed building. And
our first interaction was we were grading the same test. I was grading it for real time. She was grading it as a normal test, I believe.
I don't remember this.
We were out in the hallway, and right before class started, we were grading a test. I believe I was grading it for real time. You were grading it as a normal test, and you passed and I failed. And I was like, I don't like this person.
And I was like, that's right. Go back to speed building. That was my one and only time that I will pass the test, and Chase failed it. But boy, I will never forget it. I mean, I guess I did forget
you
it. The irony. But yeah, so that's also how we met. Fun little fact. We both were in speed building. So that was like the first time, right, that you were in there.
Yeah, that was when Nichols was in the middle classroom.
And that was like your sloppy writing-ish stage.
Yeah, that was when I slowed it back down to,
yeah. And then so you were there and then you kind of left for a little again.
Yeah.
So we always went to school early. He lived far. And
we both showed up we were like the only two to come to class an hour early to practice before class. I would definitely recommend it. Show up to class an hour before, practice.
Warm up.
We'll get that warm up. Don't use class as your warm up. Warm up before class. Use class as your testing. And then if you have time, practice and take a lunch break and then practice after class. So that's kind of what we did. We would come to class an hour before. We would kind of socialize a little bit and practice for that hour. And then we had 3 hours of classes. And then after that, we would go and eat lunch together. And that's kind of how we started getting to know each other a little bit more. And at one point started like dating. We went and played mini golf instead of eating lunch one time. And that's kind of how it started.
Oh, I think everybody is wondering who won at mini golf.
I think I erased that part from my memory.
Oh gosh, I love it. I love looking back.
I don't really like losing, so I forget the times I lose.
Yeah, it's good. You don't do it very often.
I'm a good loser, though.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
So one of the things that kind of got Alyssa over her 160 hump, where she kind of stalled at, was shortening her writing a bit. She learned a theory that was stroke intensive, like she would do to the, at the, and the in 2 strokes. And so kind of the main thing that I was helping her with was just working on those short little 2-word phrases to get them in 1 stroke instead of 2. And it kind of gave her that extra bump to get to 180. And eventually, just with more and more practice, she would pick up some common word briefs here or there. And
I was the kind of writer that had to stroke everything out beautifully. I loved writing everything out phonetically. I liked every single sound being in there. And it wasn't that I didn't think I could translate it if I didn't have every single sound. I just enjoyed, that was a positive thing for me, was seeing everything translate beautifully, because my theory was so stroke intensive that I had that all in there with the extra strokes. So if I cut any stroke out, it wouldn't translate. And we also had to start with our own dictionary, which started at 0. So I built up all those bad habits. And then when I was in high speed, it all just whooped me because I didn't have the hand speed to maintain it.
Yeah. And I was fortunate enough to start with an inherited dictionary of almost 300,000 words that really gave me that ability to write real time while I was in school, and gave me the ability. I passed the CRR the first opportunity. This was before it was online. I passed the CRR the first opportunity after my RPR, which I passed like 1 month after leaving school. So I passed the RPR. I believe they gave it in like November or something. And then I passed the CRR the very next opportunity in March or May. It was one of those 2 months that they gave it. I passed that. I passed the California CRR that same month, March or May. And then I went on and passed the RMR like towards the end of the year, like November, December. And at that point, they had it online. I think that was like their first online opportunity, I believe. I passed the RMR the first time that they gave it online. And then I passed the CRR like 6 months later when it first transitioned from the I forgot what the old ones are, CRB and I forgot what they were, but they combined 2 captioning certifications into one, the current day CRC. And I passed that right after that. And so that's kind of how I became certified. Alyssa, since we're in California, I was being captioner, so I didn't need the California CSR. But Alyssa, she wanted to do court and depots, so she kind of went a little bit different route.
Yes. So we actually ended up, since we were dating, we ended up moving together, and he lived an hour away, like an hour
and a half with traffic
away from my school. So I stopped going to my school because it just wasn't realistic for me to drive an hour and a half each way every single day, and with no traffic, which wasn't going to happen. It was going to be like 3 hours each way. So just not a realistic thing for me to do. So then she said, okay, let's do online school, see what's there, and I'll try to help you the best I can. So I said, okay, let's try it. So we tried some online schools, and just nothing really fit me, I guess. There was just different reasons why certain ones didn't work out and all of that. And it was that journey essentially was what inspired us to create Champion Steno, just because we didn't feel like what we wanted out of a program was offered at the moment. And so we kind of just put in from our experience of what I went through and what we felt was lacking in certain places and how we thought we could make that better. And we just wanted to try it out. So we did. And I think it's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been a great journey for us. It's been a lot of fun.
It definitely has been.
A lot of learning.
Yeah. So I ended up, it took me, how long was it? 6 years?
7 years from when you graduated high school. You became certified in 2017.
Yeah, so it'd be 6 years.
Oh, I thought you graduated in 2010.
I did, but that doesn't count as a year.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I graduated high school in 2010, and then I became a reporter. Well, I got my RPR in 2017. Got my RPR in 2017. And then we went to Washington for a little bit, which was amazing. It was so great. We
lived with Ron Cook.
Yes, the best. If you guys know him.
Yeah, him and his wife are great.
Yes. They're wonderful people. And Ron just knows so much, and he helped us so much with getting into the depot world and just transitioning. It is a transition. And as a new reporter, you just need someone to kind of take you under their wing and, show you the ropes and show you, okay, this is how you do this. And this is the care you should take in your transcript and all of that, because schools can't teach you everything. And sometimes you just have to get thrown into situations and you just kind of have to go with the flow. And so we were really lucky to have him. And he really took the time to walk us through how to do things properly. And it was such a huge blessing for us, I think.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun for us.
It really was. It's beautiful there.
We always see our pictures from then. We have like memories come up and we're like, oh, we miss living with Ron and his
and his wife, his family. He has such a great family.
Yeah.
It was a blast.
So to go on to the next topic here, what is a captioner and freelancer? I am a captioner, cart provider, cart captioner, and I mainly caption like business meetings or college classes. When I first started, I started out with TV. So 7 days a week I was captioning, and I did like national news. I did Fox Business, Fox News, local CBS and NBC and stuff like that. And it was pretty much thrown into it, and if you can't run, then kind of get out of the way situation. So I had no other option but to run. So I went from school. I was fortunate enough to find a company that said, okay, we'll watch your writing for this little 30-minute slot on live news. You'll caption to our in-house encoder, and we'll watch your writing for 30 minutes a day for a week. After the week, they said, okay, you're good enough. So they threw a chance on me, and they said, okay, you're good enough to go on TV. So after that 1 week of 30 minutes a day, I went live and started captioning local Los Angeles news. And then after a couple weeks of that, I was put onto Fox Business, which is completely gnarly numbers, talk as fast as you can. Uh, it's I did
About
that.
anyone in the world.
Yeah, about anything, anywhere, anyone in the world.
Mhm.
And so I did that 5 days a week. And I would say after a year of doing that or 2 years of doing that, I really didn't practice much outside of captioning that, but that pretty much prepared me to be a great, phenomenal real-time writer. And that's what really made me to get a medal in the national real-time contest for the literary portion, because it's just like literary all day. And yeah, so I believe it was in 2017 or 2018, one of those years. I placed third in the real-time literary and the speed contest literary. And then the following year, I placed third in the real-time literary, I believe. And yeah, I forgot what I got in the other ones, but those ones stand out. And yeah, so that's pretty much what my captioning journey has been. I've done sports, I've done Olympics, I've done State of the Union.
Breaking news, terrorist attacks.
Yeah.
Everything.
I've worked in the middle of the night to do stuff overseas. It's been a great journey. I've loved captioning.
Mm-hmm.
And Alyssa started out with depots, and go on with that.
Yeah, so I started with depots. Like I said, we were in Washington, and that's kind of where I got my feet wet in depots. It was amazing. The attorneys were great. Everyone was super kind. So I got to learn with great people, and it just made all the difference. It just was a breath of fresh air, it seemed like. And it can just seem daunting when you're a new reporter to just go out and take a depot, and it's all you, and you're not sitting out, and it's a lot, but it went great. And so from there, I took the California CSR, and I passed everything on my first try. I was so excited because you just hear so many crazy things about that test. It just freaks you out. Like, oh, I just want to pass it. And like I said, my journey was a long journey. It was 6 or 7 years. The jury's still out on that. But but so you just put pressure on yourself, and you just really want to pass, and you always hear it's so difficult. And I passed everything the first try, and it was so amazing. And there was just an overflow of emotion.
She screamed at the mailbox, and I was like embarrassed. I was like, people don't look at me. I'm not doing, she was like screaming with like excitement, and I was like,
because I was just I was so scared. I just thought it was going to be a fail. I was waiting for all of my academics, the other legs to come in, not the machine portion, but I took the English portion and the professional portion just to see how it was, to see how I'd do. And I ended up passing them, but I was just expecting a fail. So I was like, I don't want to wait until I get home. I have to open it right now at the mailbox. And it wasn't right in front of our house. We had like a community mailbox. And so we go to the mailbox, and I have it. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to open it. And I just start crying uncontrollably because I am so shocked.
Yeah.
And it was just, all these emotions from the past 6 or 7 years, and finally there's an end. I can finally work in California, and I've waited all this time, and it was just the most amazing feeling ever.
Yeah, it was an exciting day.
Yeah, so Chase was very embarrassed, but I was losing my mind and crying and screaming and jumping and running down the street. I was just beyond. It was one of the best feelings ever. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. It was really great.
Yeah. So anyways, so I do freelancing.
And then you went to court for a year. You did pro tem, and
yeah, the nice thing is that there's a bunch of options in this career. Depots were great. In my area, there wasn't too many. I could drive to LA if I wanted to, or San Diego, but the traffic was just so bizarre that I just didn't want to do it. So I tried to be more local, and there just isn't that much where I was anyways of depots locally. So there ended up being an officialship that opened up in a courthouse near me. And so I applied. I actually applied for San Diego first, and then they offered me the job. But then
We're like, maybe
a
not drive for
closer,
an hour.
then a closer city opened up. And so I applied there, and they offered me a job as well. So I turned down San Diego, ended up working in Riverside for Riverside County, and it was so great. I was pro tem, like Chase said, but what did they call it? It wasn't called pro tem, was it?
Yeah, I don't know. But
Intermittent.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
there we go.
Intermittent reporter, which is awesome, which means they can call you and say, hey, we need you for this day. This day, can you do it? And you say, yes. The only downside is that you don't get benefits and you don't get retirement. You don't get any of the perks from being an official, but you get experience with court and you get to make your own schedule, but with court pay too. So that's pretty exciting.
You get to dip your toe in it without like
Committing.
committing to see if you like it.
Yeah, so you don't have to be there 9 to 5, which I loved. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes they'll let you leave, but when you're intermittent anyways, but when you're an actual official full-time reporter, it's a little more strict and restrictive, which some people enjoy that, some people do not. It worked out for us. The medical insurance was amazing, which is a huge perk. And the retirement was great, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And
then the great thing about being a captioner freelancer is we both could just get up and take a vacation at any time, which we've totally missed. And since Alyssa has been an official for the past year or two, we haven't been able to do that because she gets like 1 week off a year, and she's on the lowest part of the totem pole because she doesn't have a seniority. So we don't get to get the good weeks off and yada, yada, yada. But it's like, now that she's a freelancer again, and not so much because of COVID, but once we can like fly comfortably, then we can go on vacations again and not.
Yeah, and that was a really nice thing too. We really enjoyed traveling, which I know a lot of people really love. So it works out that we both have the jobs that we can do that. We love just exploring, and we want to just see what's out there. So it'd be great to be able to have the flexibility to do that.
Yeah. And with Champion Steno, luckily, we do it online. We don't have a physical location, so we can we have done it before, go to Hawaii and do classes from Hawaii, and then be on our vacation the rest of the time.
Yeah.
So Champion Steno, we started a couple years ago, and we have been kind of building it to be the best online program that we feel we can create. And we've really feel like we've been pretty successful with it. So our first student just went through in 15 months, and she's out working and she's doing great. She's been working for 2 or 3 months now, and we're so proud of her.
Yeah,
and
it's awesome.
Yeah. So it's like we were saying, it's 100% online, and if you are interested, just go to championsteno.com and submit a contact form, or you could send us a message on Facebook. We'll get back to you any way you want.
Yeah, and we do 4 days a week of live classes. We have low speed, medium speed, and high speed. And we are the instructors.
Yeah, the whole way through, from theory all the way to high speed. We're there to guide you through and analyze your writing. That's the big part I like doing when I was a student, was turning test. Okay, now let's go analyze my writing, see how I can clean it up, see how I could do it shorter, see what I could do better. And I felt like that really helped me. So I do that with all of our students. During class, I say, okay, share your screen. Let's go over your notes, blah, blah, blah. And here's what you could do this. And yeah, so.
Yeah, I think it benefits our students so much to go through their writing, because people just don't really realize how much it makes a difference on your actual writing just by going through it.
Yeah.
You don't realize the bad habits that you're creating or the good things you're doing. You know, you always focus like, oh man, I just dropped 10 words. I suck. And that's all you see. You don't see that you got all the rest of the words. And, you know, you're not seeing all the good things you're doing, all the briefs that you remembered or the phrases you remembered to use or, you know, the positives. It's easy to just go to the dark place and, you know, look at all the negatives that you're doing or, oh man, I dropped that or I shadowed this or I stacked this or blah, blah, blah.
And it's such a good feeling for us. And I know definitely for me that when I go through one of our students' writing and then a week later, I see they're implementing all the stuff that I said, hey, you could do this and this. And boom, the very next week they're using it and they pass a test. And it's such an exciting thing to see.
Yes, because you change that feeling from, oh, I suck because of this into, oh, I can do this better and I can change that. There's a solution for that. Here's how I do this better. And I don't suck. I can change what I'm doing, you know, and it just changes it from from a negative to a positive. And I think that makes all the difference to them too. It takes the frustration, most of it out anyways. And they get to just see, hey, I can do this. I'm making progress. Here's what I have to do, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah. And if you're wanting to get into court reporting, or if you know somebody, have them go through the A to Z program to kind of get their feet wet, to get their hands on the machine, see if they like it or not. And if they like it, awesome. There's a lot of great programs out there that could, you know, fit you. You could choose Champion Steno if you would like. We're always accepting students, whether you want to sign up on the first of the month, the middle of the month, any month of the year, whenever you want to sign up.
Yeah.
We will take any student anytime.
And make sure you do your research.
Yeah.
It's so important, you guys. No matter who you choose, just make sure you do your research. And your theory is going to be the foundation for the rest of your career. So just make sure that you really know your theory, that you're really putting the effort in theory.
Yeah. Speeding through theory isn't,
it's not worth it.
Yeah.
That is, you know, that is the spot where you really want to take your time and really know it. And it's the most important thing. If you just speed through your theory and you don't really know it, it's going to reflect your writing, and it's going to take you forever to transcribe your job. It's going to take you, you know, triple as long because you're just being lazy on your writer.
Yeah.
When you could be doing so much more. So
the next question we got here is about speed contests. I didn't mean to, did I cut you off?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. But next question here, how many speed contests have I participated in? I'm not really sure. So I've done, I believe, 3 or 4 California speed contests, 3 or 4 California real-time contests, 3 or 4 national speed and real-time contests. Yeah, I did the Eclipse real-time contest one time. So I don't know, maybe like 10 or something like that.
We just wrote the Protect Your Record Projects speed contest.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a blast.
Come up with the material and Alyssa read it. And yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It was awesome.
My proudest moments and
I have not participated in speed contests because you have to be certified.
Yeah,
you have to have certain certifications.
You have to have your RMR for the national one. Yeah, so hopefully one day.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if I'll be able to beat Chase again, so the poll's just not there for me. Unless I can whoop you, it's not really worth my time.
You never know. So my proudest moment is definitely running up on stage and getting that medal for 3rd place on the speed and real-time literaries.
While he was captioning the award ceremony.
Oh yeah, that was a blast. Also, I placed 1st in the California literary leg of the real-time contest. Ron got 1st in the Q&A and I think 2nd in the literary, so he beat me out for 1st place overall, but I almost had him. As far as nerves, I've never gotten over them. I don't know how to get over them. I hate nerves. The biggest thing I try to do is think about what I'm going to get at the grocery store while I'm taking a test. It's the only way I can get through my nerves is not actually thinking about the test I'm taking. It's really difficult.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So now it's time for steno news that you can use.
Steno news that you can use. Registration is now open between December 1st and December 20th for the online skills tests of the RSR, RPR, RMR, CRR, CRR. The testing will take place between January 1st through the 20th of 2021. So be sure to register if you are ready to take your online skills test for January. The online written knowledge test for the RPR, RDR, CRR, and CLBS registration will be open between December 1st through the 31st, and testing will take place between January 7th through the 21st of 2021. Something that is very important and extremely crucial, it's the exam retention policy. Don't wait until it's too late to complete all of the components to earn your certification. So basically, if you have passed, for instance, let's say, for example, if you've already passed your written exam and your literary exam for the RPR and you still have 2 legs to go, you would need to complete the other 2 legs before November 1st of 2021. That is the deadline. So if you passed, certain portions back in 2000 or 2010 or 2013 and you still have a leg or 2 to go, you have until November 1st to complete all components to earn that certification. Next up, we have NCRA is running a holiday e-seminar bundle sale. You can purchase between December 1st through the 18th, and you can view the seminars between January 1st and the 31st. What else do I have for you? It's not too late to become a member of your state and national association. So renew your membership and become a member. And what else do I have? What else can I think of? Captioning and the court reporting and captioning week. Those dates will be February 6th through the 13th. And last but not least, I believe the business summit registration, early registration is closed, and those dates will be January 29th through the 31st of 2021, taking place at the Hyatt Regency in Savannah, Georgia. And this is for, firm owners and their leadership teams. So if that's something you are interested in, it's not too late to register. And that is your steno news that you can use.
We're back for captioners. Are there any special tech tips that I would use? And I would say I do only remote carts and captioning. 2 monitors, 3 monitors. It's totally ideal. You could have a monitor with Zoom or whatever you're captioning on one of them. You have your software on another one. If you have a 3rd monitor, you can have like your names that are going to come up in that job. Personally, I just have one really big curved monitor. I think it's like a 36-inch monitor. And then I have a smaller monitor to my left side that I put whatever I'm captioning. So if it's video, I'll put it on the left side. If it's some names, I'll put it on the left side. And then I have my main screen for my software and whatever prep material I have on the other part of that screen. So I kind of have 3 screens in a way because I could fit so much on my main big screen, but I would say that is the biggest thing that has made my captioning life a lot better, more enjoyable. And both of us are on Eclipse. The school we went to taught Eclipse. Mm-hmm. My mom's on Eclipse.
My aunt is also on Eclipse.
All of our family is on Eclipse. So
yeah, you usually just go with whoever's around you who will be helping you, whatever software they're on. is ideal.
Yeah, it's like as Mike Kinsley says, it's like Apple and Android.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty much the same, but do things a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And for steno gadgets, I think the Report It is a big one for us.
Yeah, that's the little thing that you rest your forearms on that sits on your lap. Stenograph sells it. And yeah, I love that. Both of us use it. My mom uses it. My little brother uses it. Yeah, that really helps my posture and my shoulders. When I was in school, I didn't have it. I was slouching so much. The second I got it, it really popped my shoulders up and back straightened up. No longer had back pain. Love that thing.
Yeah, it is awesome. Also, I would say a good one is also a lumbar cushion if you're a deposition reporter or a freelancer, to bring a lumbar cushion with you, because you never know what kind of chair you're going to get. And for a short person like me, it matters. I need that extra cushion, right? Because I can't reach my feet to the ground if I sit all the way back in a chair for that back support. So just be aware, when you're doing freelance work, you're not going to have the most ideal setting. I mean, I've taken a deposition in a doctor's office before, which was wild. My laptop was literally sitting on the exam table, and I was sitting in a waiting room chair.
The little circle spinny one?
No, the square ones.
Oh, gosh.
That are just stationary.
Yeah.
And so luckily I had my cushion, so I could reach the floor like an adult. Not dangling. I don't know how professional it is to have your little feetsies dangling off your chair, but so you just never know what the setting will be like, and it's just better to be prepared. It just had a strap on the back, so it fit nicely just on my roll bag, so I didn't have to carry it, or it wasn't, just roaming around or falling out of my bag. It was just secured on my bag that I was rolling, and worked out perfectly for me. Yeah. Also, I would say a good bag to carry all your equipment.
Yeah.
You always want to make sure you have a spot for everything, so that when you're looking to prepare for your job, that you can see right away if something's missing. Because the last thing you want to do is drive 30 minutes to a job and then realize you forgot your laptop charger, or you forgot your exhibit stickers, or, oh, I took out my laptop. I took out my laptop last night. I was scoping and I forgot to put it back in my bag, and then you're screwed. Because usually you show up a half an hour early, and since it takes a half an hour to get there, you're now late if you have to go get equipment. So yeah, you just never want to put yourself in that predicament. So try to have a bag where everything has a place, and do a quick little inventory before you leave. It just saves you the time and the embarrassment and frustration as well. Also, put little snackaroonies in there. Professional snackaroonies. And maybe a bottled water too. Those are really important, because sometimes where you're going, they don't have those. Sometimes if it's for an agency and you're going there, they'll have an amazing spread of things and get catered food. And sometimes no, you're in a cardboard box. Okay. So you want to make sure that you have what you need to survive and thrive. If you're like me, you get hangry. Okay.
That's the great thing about captioning, is my kitchen is 10 steps away.
Yes, I agree. And he has a wonderful wife who brings him food.
Oh, yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course. No, thank you.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yes. So we recently moved to Nebraska. During COVID, we had a small little rental property that we purchased at the beginning of the year just to rent out in Nebraska. And COVID came in March. We ended up closing on that property in February. So we're like, well, we didn't have anybody in it yet. So like, well, let's just escape California during this whole COVID thing and go to a 14,000 population town where we have a lot less chance of getting it. So we moved into our rental and just kind of brought our necessities, what we needed, just a carload of stuff. And stayed here for 3 or 4 months. And then we went back to California because Alyssa had to go back to her court job. We were there for a couple months, and then we came back here for a couple months, and then we went back to California for the last time for for like a month, and then cleaned out our house, sold it. So just finally sold here about a month ago. Yes. It's a lot of fun buying a house, but boy, selling it is so much more fun.
Selling it in California,
Yeah,
I should
selling it
say,
in California,
in a
right.
good market, in a good seller's market. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about if it's any other way.
Yeah,
Maybe not so
exactly.
fun.
Exactly. So we came here. Sadly, this rental property is on a busy street, and we have a 1-year-old who's walking. So don't
Just
really
wasn't ideal.
Yeah, not ideal. So we got a different house in a very quiet little neighborhood that we just well, it hasn't officially closed, but we got access to a couple of days ago to do some painting and stuff. And hopefully that closes this week or next week, and we'll finally be settled into a more permanent area here.
Yeah.
And luckily we're both RPRs, so we can work here and we could both take depots or do
remotely
whatever.
or here.
Yeah.
And there are bigger cities around us too, so we can always drive. And
yeah, there's really, for court reporters, there's really like one depot a month here. It's not an ideal place to be a court reporter.
No, there's not. But the nice thing is there's only one court reporter in the town, I think, or
Yeah.
I've heard. I guess I don't really know, but so that's nice for us because now we're 2 court reporters in a 1 court reporter town.
We just tripled the size of court reporters in the town.
Yes, we're doing our part, one city at a time.
Yeah, but luckily captioning is remote, and Alyssa could take remote depots, but she mainly works on Champion Steno, which has made my life so much better because I was the sole person doing most of the work.
Because I was working, I was gone.
My mom's helped a lot, but she mainly did the night classes and helped students out while she was doing her job. But yeah.
So we incorporated a lot. I made some drills for students, made more dictation. I made these great things called class plans, which we just love. And maybe the students don't love them so much because they're really hard sometimes, okay? But it's really fun.
Yeah. So moving to Nebraska has really made Champion Steno so much better.
Yeah.
We've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. And I love it. I love reading for students. I love when they tell me to make them drills because it's just so great. You know, I just wish I had someone like that when I was going through school to just take the time to pay attention to me and care. You know, that's all you really need sometimes because this journey is so brutal and everyone's journey looks so different. Everyone's circumstance is different, you know, and so you got to just find what motivates you and what pushes you to get on your machine every day. And just having someone who cares about what that looks like for you and is willing to make you dictation or make you drills that you ask for and that, you know, you matter, it makes a difference. It really does. And Chase, when I was finishing up with school, he really took the time to do that for me. And he would look at my writing and tell me, hey, you can do this. Just look, you're doing this. You're doing 2 and then why don't you just put it in 1? And I'm like, I don't know. I just never thought about it. And so sometimes it just takes someone taking the time to say, hey, what are you doing? This could be so much easier. And you really don't have to change much.
Yeah.
You know, just do it all at once.
Exactly. So how do we balance family and work? Usually one of us is working and one of us is babysitting. And it's quite difficult with a 1-year-old. He likes to scream sometimes, just, ooh, I found a toy, and scream about it.
Yes, and that's really difficult. Yeah, he's not like a screaming horrible baby like Psycho,
like a crying
but
scream.
It's an excited scream. Yeah, party!
I found this toy I lost yesterday.
Exactly. And when you're trying to make dictation, that's really difficult. Like, okay, I gotta edit that little part out. And when we're trying to do classes, oh, sorry about that. Kids screaming in the background. But it's fun.
It is fun. So if you're a freelancer or official and you wanted to change over to captioning, it's not talking about any of the tech side. There's not too much you have to do as far as really like changing how you write. I would just say keep how you write and just mainly do dictionary changes. Like you have to change to where every period or question mark has a paragraph after it for captioning. You have to take out any cuss words from your dictionary for captioning. So, but yeah, there's some people have some transitioning courses that you kind of take to help out with that. There's also a site that I kind of self-taught myself how to caption from a site called The Simple Brief, and Melody Among runs that site. So she has a captioning page on there. Really great little information. That's how I learned how to change my dictionary over to captioning. And then for struggling high-speed students, what tips can you give? Go ahead.
Interesting. Why me?
Okay, I'll go. I just felt like I was talking the whole time.
Well, it's so difficult because, like I said, our journeys were so different. But I would just say that court reporting is a total mind game. So if you can master your mind, you can do anything. And if you have negative people in your life who are, when are you going to finish school? When are you going to finish school? Just block it out, just figure out an answer, just a generic blanket answer. Most of the time they're not listening to your answer anyways. They don't really care. They just want to give you crap and remind you how how much you're struggling. And so it's just kind of like, okay, get an answer, and that's what you just don't even let your mind get affected by it.
And that could be really hard because it could be your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend or your mom or your dad or whatever. So it could be really hard to block that out because it's a close family member.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But for your own mental health, you've just got to separate it because it's just not fair to you. And it might not even be a malicious thing on their part. They don't realize how much of a mind game it is and how much it causes anxiety. You know?
Just a simple, hey, when are you going to finish? That's like,
and then you're like,
trigger.
Oh my gosh, exactly. It's exactly a trigger. And so it's just finding ways to maneuver with relationships, I think, is the biggest thing. And just being comfortable with yourself and being honest with yourself, keeping track of what you're doing every day. Because I know a lot of students, I was one of them. I'm like, I'm practicing all the time and I'm getting nowhere. And I just feel like I'm in quicksand. I'm fighting for my life to get certified and I'm just drowning. And it's, the reality is I was working 3 jobs. I wasn't putting the time in. I wasn't working on my theory. I wasn't working on anything. I was writing to Grey's Anatomy because I hated dictation. And so when I took an honest look in the mirror, I was like, wow, this is not productive at all. But because I was on my machine, I just was like, oh, I'm practicing so much. I should be, at X, and I'm not there yet. And so maybe this isn't for me, when in all reality, I was doing myself no favors by how I was practicing.
Yeah, something that our student that just got through our program in 15 months, a key thing that she said that I thought was pretty interesting was about every month or so, she would go through our entire theory and just reinforce everything and then go back. Like if she felt she was just super frustrated that day, she would just go through the whole theory. And on our site, we have short videos that go over each section of each chapter. And so she said she could watch every single one of those videos of all 20 chapters in about 2 hours. And so she would spend half of her practicing that day just going over the entire theory book. And then she'd go back to practicing and felt like, okay, I got this.
And I think that's a huge thing too, is being able to write to your dictionary. I think that makes a huge difference, because I think some people think if you start on software, you're going to be a lazy reporter because you're not looking at your steno enough. But it's actually the opposite if you do it correctly. If you're going through your notes and seeing what is happening, it is such a huge asset to have that. And you just get to see exactly like she said, you go and do theory because, okay, I forgot how to do this. And so you go and look, and then boom, you don't have that problem anymore.
Yeah.
And writing to your dictionary instead of, oh, I'm going to cross my fingers and hope this, works. And sometimes you still do that because it might not be in your dictionary, but it's definitely nice.
Yeah.
I didn't have a theory like that had prefixes and suffixes, and you use your dictionary as a tool instead of, okay, I'm just going to tell it to say this and it's going to come up like that. There's actually more reason behind it, and there's concepts, and I think it just makes a big difference for our students, which is really nice.
Yeah. Name 3 of the most important things a new professional should know before taking their first job.
Oh boy.
You go ahead.
Put me on the spot. Okay. Number 1, know the expectations of the agency.
Yeah.
I would say is a huge thing. Know what they expect from you. Know what kind of work product they expect.
Know what they're going to pay you before you take the job.
Yes, know what they're going to pay you. That's very, very important. Make sure that you're noting everything on your billing sheet. I learned that the hard way.
Make sure you ask every party if they want a copy
on
or
the
not.
record.
While your audio is still recording.
Yes, exactly. Seriously, you guys, don't play. They will lie. I have heard it. I've seen it. I haven't personally experienced it, thank goodness, but
I have actually for the 10 depots I've taken.
That's true. Yeah, so just be very aware and don't be afraid to ask questions. I would say make sure you have one person that you can go to that you feel comfortable asking a bajillion questions, because when you're a new reporter, things just come up. There's a lot of gray in this profession, and you need someone that you can trust to say, hey, this happened, what do I do? Or this happened in my transcript, how do I punctuate it? Or, all of those different situations that just come up, and there's so many different things.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
And now with a lot of depots being through Zoom or whatever the preference of the software is, you can, I know in Eclipse, I'm sure CaseCat can do the same thing, but you can have it to where your audio is being recorded, whatever audio is coming through your computer is being recorded by your computer. So you don't have to stick a mic up to some speaker. You could just have the cleanest audio that you're hearing through your headphones being recorded, and you don't have to worry about somebody sneezing in your house or something being covered by the audio. Of course somebody could sneeze on the Zoom call, but so just kind of knowing your software and how to record that audio, just in case, having you can stick a microphone up to the speaker, also just having a backup.
How to troubleshoot is really important.
Troubleshooting tech is the new age of court reporting.
Yes.
All right. So anything we're looking forward to when the pandemic is over? Going on a trip.
I was just going to say traveling. Yes. I know.
Can't
1, 2, 3, travel.
Wait to go to Hawaii or Florida or
somewhere warm.
I'm not really cold yet.
It's supposed to snow tomorrow.
Oh,
we shall see.
But
Jace actually has liked the snow.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
But I think, definitely traveling will be so great. It'll be nice.
Yeah.
And since we're both not committed to anywhere again,
I'm kind of down to go somewhere not that we've been to Hawaii, we've been to Florida. I'm down to go to like Montana. Somewhere we have.
Yeah, we want to go skiing.
Yeah.
But we have to be very careful with our hands.
Yes. So, I have stayed away from all action sports because of my hands.
I know. I wanted to do a wipeout course. If you guys have seen it, the hilarious show on TV, and they bounce on those big old red balls.
And I was the buzzkill that said no because my hands are too precious.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, my precious. I can't. My hands. So, it was really lame. But
all right, well, after that, do you have any words of encouragement that you would like to share?
Don't marry a court reporter who's logical. Just kidding. Also, I was going to say that it's really fun being married to someone who does what I do.
Yeah, being able to talk to each other about it is really great.
Yeah, I could see how this could easily affect a marriage because you don't have an outlet.
The person sneezed while the other person was talking and they didn't restart. And you're like, what?
Yeah, they're just like, okay, all right. What can I do for you? What do I do at this point? So it's really great.
I'm so sorry. That is so annoying, honey.
Yes. Or Chase comes down and like, oh my gosh, you won't believe this accent that I just had to write. And it's
I record all the, stuff that I caption to, and I'm like, I play it for her. I'm like, listen to this crazy accent. She's like, oh my gosh, how could you do that?
Yeah, because I'm trying to decipher it. I'm like, I can't even write it. I can't listen to it. How are you writing? So it's just hilarious, and it's really fun. He's my best friend, and I love him.
So sweet. You're my best friend too.
I love you.
Am I going to see you in Vegas next year when the pandemic's over?
That would be awesome. I really do miss everybody.
Yeah, I miss it. We had to miss last year because Jackson was born.
Yeah.
Or we had to miss.
Jackson was born 2 months early.
We missed Orlando because Jackson was born right in Orlando.
Right in Orlando. Mm-hmm.
Well,
no, this year was Orlando. Last year was Denver.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Denver. My bad. I'm getting these mixed up here.
Mm-hmm.
We had to miss Denver because Jackson was born the same month as the convention.
Yeah, he was born.
Or the month before.
Yeah.
Something.
But it was a wild time. He was in the NICU for 3 years. 3 years.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you tired?
I don't know. I guess I'm more tired than I thought.
All right.
But yeah, he was in the NICU for 3 weeks. And so it was an interesting time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Seeing all the pictures of everybody in Denver when we're in the NICU, like, oh.
Yeah, we had major FOMO. I mean, we just had our firstborn child, but we were
still missing everybody.
Yeah, we were still missing everybody. It's so much fun. Everyone is just so great in this profession, and we're so lucky to have so many great friends. And Chase competes with, some of the best in the business, and they are just some of the best people that you will ever meet. They push each other, and it's just so refreshing to just see that friendly competition. But man, they're coming for each other. They do not let up, which I love. They push each other to do just that much better because they really want to beat each other, but they're also each other's biggest cheerleader. And that's just what we need, especially in a time like this with COVID and everything that's happening. I mean, you guys see it online, and, we all try to rally, and it's just amazing to see everyone supporting each other and building these lifelong friendships and relationships with people. I mean, when you go through something like court reporting school, or just the profession in general, it's kind of like going to war with somebody, and you just bond because of the chaos, because of the hardship, and because of the fun. That just court reporters understand, and we speak each other's language, literally.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I can't read your writing. Sometimes you can't read mine, but most of the time we speak each other's.
I think that's really accurate, though. We have communication issues. Real talk.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we got to figure it out. I've got to tell my Eclipse how to translate you better.
Yeah, I just can't write to your dictionary.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly it.
Well, with that, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Thank you so much, Shaunise, for inviting us.
Yes,
really appreciate it.
Much.
And
you're welcome. I thank you guys so much. You guys did such an awesome job.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So hopefully if, we're done with this pandemic, we will be able to, see each other in Vegas. I'm looking forward. I think that was the last time we were together. Was Vegas, was it 2017 or was New Orleans 2017?
New Orleans, I believe, was the last convention we went to.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Vegas and then New Orleans. Yeah, so I think that was the last one. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I was in the audience when you when at the luncheon where you were the winner and you were backstage captioning. That was just like the coolest thing to see. Go back.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
I know, it was awesome. I know, it was the weirdo cheerleading in the corner, like, yeah.
Right. So you guys, I thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you. Keep up the good work, and I will be in touch with you guys soon.
That sounds awesome. Thank you so much, gal. It's so great talking with you. We miss you.
I miss you too.
Hope you're well. Bye.
Okay, bye. I would like to thank everyone that took the time out to check out this podcast. You are appreciated. This podcast was designed just for you and to add value to our profession. And on that note, I'm going to leave you with an amazing quote. Make yourself indispensable. This quote is from Ali Hall. Can we pretty much say that quote sums up 2020 and what we should be striving for going forward? Make yourself indispensable. Until then, stay motivated and encouraged. Goodbye.